Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. Before we actually jump into Mara's chart, I want to say a few things about what's currently going on with Bitcoin, because that is a high, something that influences Mara quite a bit. Of course, that's their primary business. So I'm going to share a few things with you guys real quick, and that's understanding that actually earlier this week, if I'm correct, we were back into the green in October, and now looking at October, we are just down 3.2%, according to this website. I can even refresh it to see if it changes. Yeah, just 3.24%. We are not down much whatsoever, right? Just because we're seeing red does not mean, a little bit of red does not mean things are over and October is not going to happen anymore, right? It's only October 9th. And if you look back at September on Bitcoin's price chart, the price action for Bitcoin actually for a while, it was just negative for like the first, basically the first 3 months of September, or 3 weeks of September, and then we finally broke up higher and broke the previous swing high right at the end of September. So we can easily see some continued consolidation, a little bit lower, but maybe even retesting this red fib support area like we're doing right now. We're retesting it, and then from there we can either move higher or hang out here for a little bit longer and then move up higher. Just because we've been down so far for 9 days in October doesn't mean anything, because history kind of reminds us that we just need to be mindful of what's going on. And what's currently going on, before I jump into this article right here, is we have a lot of macroeconomic news, geopolitical stuff that doesn't actually, in my opinion, directly affect Bitcoin. But because Bitcoin is still so new, you still have a lot of everyone, Wall Street, just everyone on the road is still the majority of people are still categorizing Bitcoin as just a regular growth asset when it's really not designed to be. So it's being valued in ways that it shouldn't be. So when Bitcoin is being dropped due to events like, unfortunately, the disaster is happening in Florida right now, rising treasury yields. This is just ridiculous, and it's not something that I'm worried about whatsoever. It's something I'm trying to take advantage of, and I did buy more BITU as a way to take advantage of the Bitcoin dip. But I'll share that position. I'll share that buy most likely tomorrow when I do my Bitcoin portfolio update, and then if prices stay low into next week, I'll buy again next week. So I'm just going to see how the rest of this week plays out. But we also have potentially $16.5 billion. I don't think all of this is going to flow back into Bitcoin or any kind of crypto, but at least we can expect to say, at least conservatively speaking, like $8 billion roughly will flow back into cryptos, primarily Bitcoin. And the reason this is very exciting is because, well, everyone that was involved in this isn't just getting their funds back, which is very good to have, all these customers getting, their funds back. But just like the US selling off Bitcoin, just like Germany selling off Bitcoin, they were selling it. This cash, all of this is in cash. This is not giving them back into Bitcoin or other cryptos or converting it into cash. No, it's already cash. So there is zero risk of price dropping due to this going back to their customers. Instead, if at least like 40% or even half, like 50% want to reinvest this is super bullish for Bitcoin. So this is nothing but upside potential for Bitcoin. Not all of it, definitely not all of it, but definitely a good portion of this, and most likely will flow back into Bitcoin. So this is a very, very important thing. Also, if you guys are keeping up to date with not just with macroeconomic news, but when the US dollar begins to strengthen, it shows going upward. That shows that there's a lot of fear in the market right now. I'm pretty sure if I open up, yeah, see the VIX is going up as well. There's a lot of volatility. So when there's fear, usually the US dollar goes up, and this isn't good for Bitcoin and growth assets and such, just because I think this is fine for like consumer staples. I'm not sure. I have to do more research on that. But and also REITs. I'm actually super curious. Maybe I'll do some research on that just for some personal educating myself a little bit. But when the US dollar goes up, it shows that people are selling out of a lot of their assets and buying the US dollar because they're trying to reduce risk, and this is a mistake, because a lot of people are getting out right now to buy the US dollar because it's going up, are going to miss out on the reversal on the opposite side for Bitcoin. A lot of this fear that's happening in macroeconomic stuff, geopolitical stuff, it's all going to be eventually controlled. And then next thing you know, it's too late, Bitcoin's up, and then all these people are trying to convert back into their assets out of the US dollar. So it's just, I feel like it's just people being too impatient, being too fearful, because they don't understand what they're really investing in. If you truly understand what you're investing in, then you truly believe in it. And you can make an argument where you're stating a lot of real facts on like, hey, the reason I'm not selling on this, I'm adding more, even though it's falling, is because of these reasons, and I can sleep fine at night just because I understand. But yeah, so a lot of this stuff happening right now is pushing all these prices down. This is all going to blow over soon. Next thing you know, it's all going to be just, gone. So we do have small fluctuations on Bitcoin. We're pushing down a little bit lower. So understanding that a lot of this outside news is influencing a lot of these assets to, fall more into its, negative portions of its structure, is just a clear sign to me that, hey, it's probably a good time to accumulate some, because these assets should not fall, because these things actually don't have a direct influence. They still influence, of course. It affects a lot of things in the world and whatnot, but directly speaking, the whole purpose of Bitcoin, the whole purpose of all these assets, it does not actually fully influence the crypto itself. And then Mara actually doesn't have any. I don't think they have any facilities in Florida. But of course they are affected by Bitcoin, and if we see the price go lower, that's going to obviously impact, because they do have a pretty good HODL policy going on. But if you guys have been watching for a while, and I'm going to keep repeating myself as much as I need to, but you guys know that I am not going to do anything whatsoever within this gap between the first red and the green red, because I always say, I've said this many times, this area is where Mara is going to continue to fluctuate to decide if it's going to have a break of structure to the upside or to the downside. When we finally saw the price break above this green line right here, this gave us the opening for a potential break of structure. We quickly got rejected. Like one day, the next day we got rejected. We fell back down. So instead, this was acting more as like a liquidity search or a form of liquidity to push the price lower. Next thing you know, we found support. And then we're somewhat pushing higher. This time we got rejected. We didn't get just rejected by the 0.35, but we got rejected by this higher price right here, which then created this descending resistance. Came back down, found support, broke up higher, and then that allowed us to create this bottom resistance, ascending bottom resistance. So it's creating a more of a triangle pattern right now, which is very exciting, because that shows that instead of having larger price swings, we're now narrowing the price swings, which then will cause a big pump rather to the upside or to the downside. And of course, that would depend on what the underlying asset does as well, as long as Mara doesn't run into some crazy business issues, because again, it is a business. There's a lot of things that affect it, and they're also having some issues. I think there's a lawsuit in Texas about some people saying that the mining facilities for Mara are way too loud, and they're like trying to sue them or something because it's causing a lot of hardship in their life. The loud sounds. I'm not gonna give my opinion on that because it's just public information. You guys can look at it, do your own research, and then you can see what's really going on. You can create your own opinion, but there's a lot of drama, and I'm not gonna say anything. But you guys can do your own research, and this is something that hopefully would just get blown over, or get closed out of court, something. I don't know, but it's something that just needs to be taken care of quickly because it's just noise. It's just a waste of time. You guys can do more research into that if you want. But we're gonna retest this little support area down here. We're gonna see what happens. You guys already know that this is my light accumulation area, because we are starting to push further into the correction that Bitcoin is currently in, and we're gonna start eventually moving up higher. I'm not really gonna do much. I don't even think I'm gonna continue accumulating anymore. I'm just gonna keep using this as a support area, but I don't think I'm gonna really do much. I'll keep documenting it for you guys, but at this point, I'm just gonna leave this on the sidelines until we finally either stopped out much lower. Either I will get stopped out or I will start to slowly shave off some positions within this first level confirmation area. My last Mara video, I believe I broke down the first level, second level, and then the third level of bullish confirmation, so you guys can look at that if you want. I am going to say this though, again, this purple line represents the premium and discounted half of the current structure win, starting from late 2022 to the swing high up here, which is the top of the current structure, and then the current bullish structure as of late 2022, and then we're in the discounted portion. We're in this support area down here. This can last quite a while. We can easily see prices continue to consolidate in this area for like easily the rest of the year. I am not time bound into this. I am level bound into this, if that makes sense. So either I get stopped out or we finally start to dabble into our first level confirmation, which is price breaking above the 0.35 and sustainably holding itself. Until then, I've been saying this a lot. Set your alerts. Set some bearish alerts down here. Like when we were up here, I kept saying we don't have to reach higher. We can easily fall back down and continue because we still don't have the required like volume in Bitcoin that's really going to push this higher. And we also have a lot of issues. Like we're retesting the support right now. We have a lot of issues with just some economic stuff in the US, and I'm not going to get into all of it, but this is all of course affecting asset prices. We also have the Nasdaq potentially showing signs of overvalued top, and that's influencing Mara as well. There's just a lot of things, but when outside influences affect something that it shouldn't really, that's amazing, because then when investors and traders start to realize where the value really is, that's when you start seeing that aggressive move to where it should be. And where I believe it should be is at least at $20. Like I believe the price should be much higher, but of course this is where we're at. And again, we're in this triangle pattern. Set your price alerts for not the first level, but the first break into the first level of the bullish portion of this. So 0.35 level where $18.42 is. This is if we can hold above this area, so just set your price alerts. Set some bearish price alerts, and excuse me, and then just continue to wait, excuse me. And this whole area, again, this is an area where Mara is trying to decide what break of structure it really wants to go into. It's gonna fall down, stay down in this area, and then make a new low from this low right here, or it's gonna finally break up higher, retest this overall swing high right here above the 0.35 line, and just break it and then start consolidating between the 0.35 and the 0.5. Either of those two breaker structures, that's what's gonna happen, right? Of course, even if we do go further down here, eventually, due to the underlying asset that this company is highly focused on, eventually we'll just see the price break up higher and it'll be great. There's not too much risk with this stock, because if it's so volatile, it's so difficult to read right now. If you don't want to overcomplicate it, then there's no reason for you to go heavy on this stock. I don't think it's a good idea for anyone to short this stock. I believe that's even more dangerous than going in hard and then just holding it for like the next 3 months. I think it's dangerous to short it, but all I'm saying is that eventually this will have to push up higher, because they're holding a ton of Bitcoin. They're holding so much. They're going to continue to hold more. Their financials are getting better. Their debts basically non-existent, and they're in my opinion they will go up. It may not happen this month, this week, like dramatically, but we will see the price eventually go higher. Until then, it's better to manage your position according to your risk tolerance, and of course, just go light with it. There's no reason to go into this stock heavy if you have a weak heart, and if you don't have a long enough time horizon to just swing trade this for like the next 3 months, for example. In my opinion, because everything I've said in this video and everything I will continue to say in this channel and this video as well, it's all just my opinion. This is how I am personally managing this stock. In no means am I recommending anyone to do what I'm doing, because I can hold on to this for many months and my life will not be affected by it, because I'm not even putting I'm putting a very small portion of my overall trading capital into this. I am not, I'm more focused on Bitcoin itself and like BITU right now, and like I'm not worried about this. This is something I'm doing on this. Like, this isn't even, in no means should anyone make this stock a big portion of their life, because it can hurt you really bad. And it's mainly because hopefully you don't have such a short time horizon that you're trying to force. Because if you have a short time horizon and you're being too hopeful, all you're doing is just you're trying to force the chart to do what you want. And like every trading book says, like everyone out there that trades and actually can make a living out of it, or just a decent side income, understands that you're guaranteed to just, you probably have, it's not sustainable. Just please do not try to force the stock price to do whatever you want, depending on your biasness and your short time horizon. It's just, guys, please, like, you're not worth all that heartache and headache, and it's just, understand the short-term risk, understand why it's important to lightly accumulate into a stock like this currently, and where it's realistic to begin to sell off portions of your position, but still leave some for potential continued upside throughout the rest of the year. You don't have to sell out completely. You can also just, again, slowly shave off some. And if we do dip back down, then continue to accumulate, and that way you lock in some gains, and you can still keep your overall average purchase low. But that's my opinion on Mara, guys. Bitcoin, correlation with Mara, we're eventually going to start seeing prices push up higher. This is my next resistance area that I'm trying to focus on with Bitcoin right now, and I anticipate we will reach this area by the end of October. We will see. I can obviously be wrong 100%. I can obviously be wrong about reaching $100,000 by the end of the year. Like, none of this is guaranteed to happen, but that's just what I'm focused on. That's what I'm looking at. And to me, this is fairly like this is very realistic in my opinion. But we will see. If we're not and we're like in this area, cool. My BTU position will be nicely in the profit. I will be close. I'll be just about breaking. I'll be just about flat on my core Bitcoin position. I don't care. I'm not in a rush. Again, I can spend the rest of the year not trading and I'll be set. I'll be fine. I'm not in a rush to do anything. So yeah, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully this video made sense and hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much. But yeah, guys, take care. I'll catch you in the next one.